Welcome to the October 2nd bhyve production user call. We have Andrew, Roller, Alexander, Mario, Harry. I use Owls, Alexei, Crichton, and myself, Michael, so far. And thank you everyone for participating in some way in EuroBhyveCon. That took place at EuroBSDCon on Friday before the two formal paper event days. And Mario, you attended. Do you have any first impressions on it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I went in pretty blind. Wasn't at any BhyveCon before. Also didn't really interact with any of the projects before. I was aware of them. I knew what they were doing and so on. So yeah, I basically just went in blind, kind of looking what the fuss is all about. No, was quite pleasantly surprised. I first off, foremost, I liked the organization. I liked how welcoming it was to also like ask questions or engage with other people. Um, who were there. I also got a lot of feedback and other ideas in between talks with the other participants. That was great. And yeah, for me, the highlights were once the demo from you, Alexei, about the GPU pass-through. That was very interesting to see. And it was a very short thing, but you did this like screen grab that I think was basically just grabbing the data from the memory, basically grabbing the frame buffer. I thought this was great. So, like, for me, it opened a lot of ideas. And also, now, probably once my test system is up and running, I got a lot of PCI devices and weird stuff lying around. So, I will, yeah, probably then start testing some things. And the other highlight for me was the demo of Silver, which
Yes.
yeah is also something uh, yeah I will incorporate it into my home lab and see what will pop out and come from it. But yeah,
I am
and
glad you
yeah, all
enjoyed
all
that.
in all, for basically just walking in and well, seeing what's it, I got out with a lot of new ideas and inspiration and so on. That was great.
Thank you for that feedback because I just wing it and hope for the best. Dave, we are going through impressions of EuroBeehiveCon. Mario was in the audience and you were in the audience. Any just highlights to share?
Oh no, lots of energy and motivation. I think yeah, same thing that Mario just said. I'm interested to know how Alexei hooked up OBS to the HDMI output of a VM or whatever that magic trick was.
Alexei, I'll let you answer that.
I
From
just used the
memory,
capture
it's
card.
a USB or PCI?
Yeah, it's a USB capture card that I got for $20. You just
Okay.
you just connect one end to your PC and the other end to like an HDMI cable into the GPU,
Ah,
and then you
nice.
can just use it in OBS as a
Ah,
webcam device.
So I just, if I rephrase that to make sure I've understood, I've got a pass-through GPU connected to bhyve, which has on the outside this cable that goes back into my PC as a USB thing, and then I
Yeah,
can pretend it's a webcam.
yeah,
typically, they're
It's
like
strange.
matchbox-sized
Is that
little
my
adapters. Go ahead.
my computer does have more than one GPU. It's just I don't use one of them because yeah, I just when I switched from whatever I had beforehand to this AMD CPU, the AMD CPU has got GPU stuff on it, but I just don't use it because I was lazy. I kept my old video card because it was simple.
Alexei, was that
uh,
to the same machine or to a second machine?
I was doing that to the second machine, but I
Okay.
also did that with the main machine, like where I run Beehive too.
Okay, that's dog fooding on itself, which kudos for that because it blew my mind on the very first call when you demoed that. I'm like, well, wait a minute, that's brilliant. You have a perfect way to capture snapshots of the screen. You get actual output you can send to a file. Very nicely done because for me, it's like stretching and looking across the room and hoping for the best. So very nicely done. DCH, any other highlights? Oh, stepped away. No, any other highlights to throw in there?
And what's cool is the cable that I need actually arrived today, the one that I would use for my laptop, but it turns out this does exactly the same thing. So I'm going to test it now.
Sweet. We look forward to your report in like half an hour.
Very sweet.
And huge congratulations to Alexei for doing, as I understand it, your first presentation that happened to be at your first international conference and over Zoom, sight unseen, with you just speaking into the ether and us listening in a room of like 30 people. So congratulations on that.
Yes, that was extremely nervous for me.
You did great.
Great.
That's literally
Thank
amazing.
you.
That's so good. You're so far ahead of the curve. Please stay on this path. Like, that's so good. You're gonna have a good expectation from life, buddy.
And let's hope the next, maybe one time in the future, when you can actually come in person and give a talk in person.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I'm going to Europe in a year.
Okay.
The next summer, I'm going to Europe, and if there's going to be a presentation, then I might join.
Yeah, give us a heads up on the countries and cities, and we'll
or at
work
least,
something around you if needed.
At least if there's going to be a conference, I'm going to join too.
Cool. Okay, so yes, and Roller, you've got a strategy on Camlink for HDMI. Tell us more.
Yeah, so I use this one. It's USB on this
It's
is
a
the
dongle,
cam
eh?
link. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's USB 3 on one side and HDMI on the other. And then I use this guy to do the input on one side, and then there's two HDMIs on the other side. Because I want to see on my monitor, but I also want it to go to this card. So that's how I pull that off. And
Cool.
like Alexi said, it works pretty good to it just shows up as a camera. And the audio, actually, the HDMI audio works too.
Does support it. That's cool. And yeah, the moment those showed up as a webcam, it's like, oh, it's all kind of thank you. I think thank you, Microsoft. They just kind of slammed them all into one interface, and it makes this easy. And if it's not obvious, Patrick and I are pretty busy with all things sort of BSD TV AV, such that this is all of great interest because we would run these events off of things like those little capture devices. Cool.
Also, speaking of which, this is another one. This is the Razer Ripsaw, which has the nice feature that it has a pass-through. So this input signal gets output to another monitor, so one doesn't need a splitter, but it's
very good
a bit
point.
cheaper than more expensive than the Camlink. And otherwise, I have like 4 or 5 other different brands lying around here.
There you go. Where is the physical pass-through device? Is it off the side or something? Ooh, someone tore it down. Ooh.
No, on the Ripsaw, it's just in the one box. Like you have HDMI input and then the output directly.
Cool.
On there, which just passes through the signal.
Cool. So moving on from bhyvecon, which is the topic I use owls. Heads up, Hans hasn't rolled in, but we had a very good chat after the main event, but he sort of pretty much did the first 2 sessions of bhyvecon. He has a proposal for CPU ID work, which will lay down the groundwork for live migration and is highly overlapping with Lumos code reunification. And luckily, Patrick Mooney watched the recording and is like, hey, well, let's talk about where that makes sense and where that doesn't make sense. And a topic that came up over and over in the audience of the main conference, and you name it, was VM overhead. Like, why is the VM quiet to itself, but under bhyve, you see quite a bit of load under top. And people noticed, Patrick Hausen noticed that, for example, Windows 10 was often very quiet, Windows 11 is often very busy, and that's after the massive Windows update on boot. So there was some time counters work you might remember from these calls some time ago, and we are looking at getting that settled once and for all. And there was in one of the keynotes, someone mentioned the NLNet Commons Fund, and we're like, screw it. We've got like a day or 2 to slam in a proposal, and we did. So thank you, Hans, for doing that. fingers crossed, but the work is still valid. So if they say no, we'll look elsewhere. And on the note of funding, yeah, I always forget this. You are encouraged and welcome to support all these calls and things I do. It's been 7 years of these calls, and I really don't want to think about how many hours I put into this every week that are absolutely not billable. So bsdfund.org, but I'm not a marketing machine, so there I said it. I'll leave it at that. Alexei, I've given you the contact information for Corvin, and you know where to find Hans. On a recent call, Alexei kindly showed a patch that corrects bhyve to choose the right type of GPU virtualization when you're on a given Intel architecture. And I've thrown in a link here that I believe is the one you used in your presentation or had a little snippet of that shows which generations of Intel architectures are either the VTG, these acronyms just absolutely throw me, or the newer SRIOV. And I realize I have a new concern that my Intel Arc card is officially not supported, but Alexei, it sounds like there is some amount of Intel Arc
Yes,
discrete
it's not
GPU
supported,
support.
yet it works.
Yet it
if
works.
you
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
You just gotta do SRIUV, which is splitting it into many VMs at the same time.
That's what you need to do?
Yeah, that's what SRIV is. It's
Okay.
splitting it into many VMs.
Oh, no, but you need for the
Yeah.
Arc card. Okay. So a colleague, Levi, who's been on these calls, says that the i915 driver upstream has all this stuff hiding in it if you know where to look. So tip Arc needs SRIOV, which means, Alexei, I need your patch, which means get that review up there and let me download it from there.
Oh, no. Arc, the Arc GPUs do not support SRIV.
Oh,
I
they
mean,
do
like
not.
the consumer ones.
Yeah, okay.
They do
I
not
don't
support
know about
SRIV. They
consumer.
just need the regular pass-through, like AMD GPUs.
Oh, okay. Cool. All the better. I'll try and spin that up soon.
And SRIV is for data center GPUs when you need to split one GPU into
Correct.
several virtual machines.
For
to
all
do
the money.
compute for like AI stuff when you do
Correct.
compute on different VMs.
Although if Intel is talking about it, what device is it? The iGPU that supports SRIOV, if I'm reading this correctly? Oh, there's
Yeah,
data
for only
center
some
flag.
iGPUs. Yeah,
Okay.
it's Intel
Cool.
data center GPUs. Those are data center ARCs.
Yep.
Arc Pro B.
Do you recall the BIOS being kind of important? I know that some desktop like
Yep.
Xeon
The
E3 machines
VBIOS
being
needed for
pretty
AMD
important.
GPUs,
Yeah.
but it's not needed for ARCs, as far
Okay.
as I know.
What about the host the host motherboard BIOS? I recall that needing to be
That's for
timed a bit
AMD
fancy.
GPUs.
Okay.
You need to pull a binary blob from the host BIOS to get
Right.
pass-through
Oh,
on AMD GPU.
right. But I thought even the like AMI on the motherboard BIOS sometimes needs to be a bit a fancier generation of host CPU just to allow these features. But I will go talk to people separately about that. But please, Alexei, reach out to Corvin and
do you mean about
Hans.
like the IOMMU features and all of that?
Yes, correct. That the
Yeah,
motherboard,
you do need
regardless
that.
of a GPU, needs to be just like more server-like with an E3 processor.
Yeah, for any PCI pass, you need IOMMU in the BIOS. You need all the virtualization you would need for a normal VM.
Yeah, that's been pretty common. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Alexei, do you have any other follow-up topics to your presentation? Good news, cool things, demos?
Not really. I've been working on a framework for a website.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm making a small, like super simple website framework in awk.
Oh, okay.
That will work
Sweet.
on Plan 9 and FreeBSD, just out of the box.
Are you running Plan 9?
I will.
Okay, cool. Feel free to try it under bhyve, of course.
Yep.
Okay, cool. But yes,
Like
please keep that patch coming. Please, please, please. Time's ticking on 15.
Regarding SOIOV,
yes, Roller.
SRIOV, I wasn't aware that it was a graphics card thing as well. I just encountered it because I got a 10 gig network card.
Networking, right? Yes.
And that's where I started digging down, going, okay, how do I hook this up to my jails? But it's interesting. Is there anything else that that acronym covers besides? Is it just networking and GPUs now?
That's a very good question. SRIOV device types. Sure, that's an open question. So NICs, GPUs, which is, yeah, news to all of us. We'll just think logically, I don't think a host bus adapter would have a supernatural match there. Can anyone think of something?
Right?
Muted
Is there
folks.
gonna be like some magic power supply way of like giving splitting your power supply somehow?
Bingo.
I mean, I will be testing like if you audio cards that are PCI Express and various video capture and playout hardware, but I do not think that they are in any way SRIOV. That will probably just be regular throughput. But another thing I was thinking about is, has anyone any experience with like the NVIDIA Grid compatible hardware for virtualized GPU pass-through?
So NVIDIA Grid, is that GRID?
Yes, because NVIDIA is NVIDIA, their virtualization stuff is also somehow incorporated with additional licensing stuff and custom software, but I might get a last generation NVIDIA M10, I think it was, which is one of their GPUs just for providing virtualized GPUs. I might get one of these, so I could maybe do some testing and stuff.
Okay.
But I have no idea how, if it's all blocked by some licensing stuff, or we'll see.
Reddit's your friend. There are many discussions on clever ways to achieve things.
Yeah,
Say
I
that.
could think, yeah.
Please let me know.
Yes, Alexander.
Please let me know if you finish your interview.
You're super quiet. We've been struggling with that
I
before the
can't.
recording. I know, right? Do you have a
Is this any
laptop you
better?
can jump in slightly?
Yeah, there's nothing I can do. Please let me know if you can, if you actually get anywhere with the NVIDIA Growth stuff. I think those licenses are kind of limited uh, to having the right driver stuff. So they've got a driver that you can use with that for Linux, and they've got one for VMware. But if we can use it elsewhere, I am very interested. We've looked at using that, in my
What's
places.
the use case?
It's just for doing exposing 3D to VMs, specifically for VDI usage.
For VDI, thank you. So not like
Although
LLM or
I
something.
I know a lot of people do use them for LLM,
Okay.
so
Sweet.
that is a valid use case as well.
Mario, do you have a use
Especially
case?
yeah, that would be especially for running like a lot of VMs. So I think like one of the cards I may get, obviously, but if I get it, it would allow for I think up to 96 VMs basically using that card, and it will just like split the resources, the VRAM and the stuff between the different
Wow. Okay.
VMs. So
Hey, yeah,
this could
hello.
be interesting for just basically hosting remote workstations and things like that.
Totally.
Yeah, it's great. It's great for VDI, particularly for cases where you have VDIs that are using CAD or 3D modeling, or possibly LLM workloads if the virtualized GPU can handle them.
Cool. Okay, noted. And I can dust off the, I believe, AMD server-ish cards that Levi and I picked up and just threw down in frustration because we didn't have Alexi.
On the AMD side of things, as frustrating as AMD can be, the upside with AMD is they are way more open with everything than NVIDIA is. NVIDIA likes to keep everything behind their paywall. AMD is just looking to sell cards, They don't care who. They don't. So they're willing to let everyone see everything.
Bingo.
And I know a lot of their driver stuff is at this point very much open source, including their stuff for doing AI workflows and all of that. So, especially if we could talk to some people on from AMD, they would. They seem to be way more open from what I can tell.
That's a good point. Yeah, there was someone at the FreeBSD Summit from AMD. So heads up, if you're in the USA, in San Jose, there's a FreeBSD Summit for the third year in a row at NetApp, and it was a remarkably good event. Delightful, delightful. So, Harry, did you drop off? Looking at the chat, sounds like yes, but Harry, who I believe was working on possibly a compiler, was it? A few months back. His question was QEMU versus bhyve. Well, very much QEMU is emulation and very portable. QEMU can be accelerated by KVM, and I think there was a GSoC project for FreeBSD to accelerate QEMU with bhyve. Yep, take another rip from that bong. Kind of cool. So, other topics before we get into Alexander's ping about SPDX hardware hygiene, which I suppose Dave might have some input in, but let's talk bhyve topics here. What you got? What you got?
So I'm looking for some. So Michael, I mentioned at bhyvecon, there was this thing that I couldn't remember. So I remember what it was.
Oh, cool.
So I have a VM, which is a KVM VM, and it doesn't have. You can't access the root console. You don't have any graphics at the root console. So when you boot in single user mode, and most of the time that is fine because I don't need it, but occasionally you do, and that's very annoying. And I'm going to log a bug report, but I'm wondering if people here have some clarifications what I'm actually looking at, so I can file a more useful bug report than it no work.
What's the guest OS?
Well, obviously FreeBSD.
Oh, interesting. So, note in your TTYs file, is there any chance it's a like FreeBSD 10 VM?
No, it's 14.3.
Interesting, because in the
We
good old
know-
days, the TTYs didn't like do on-if console and default to that like every other OS on the planet. Thank you very much.
So you're talking about, are you talking about, is it trying to work with a graphical console, or is it trying to go actually out the serial? Or do you know? Have you checked both?
So there's no serial console on these perverted systems. It's a cloud vendor thing. And you can see the firmware load, it's UEFI. You can interact with the loader prompt. But after the loader prompt, when it starts, it's at the last point, it's loaded whatever sort of graphical stuff it thinks it needs. It fails then at starting SBIN init, and that's the last text you see. And if you're running not in multi-user mode, then a few seconds later you get your virt.io console and it's all good. But if you are in single user mode, none of that stuff happens, so you don't see anything. And I tried a lot of tricks like loading all the virt.io drivers manually in loader.conf, in the loader prompt, and then booting the kernel manually. None of that works. And the thing is, I'm not really clear what am I trying to debug here? What am I trying to explain to people when I file a bug?
Maybe ping Jan on, say, the signals of the world.
Yeah, I should do that.
One possibility.
And I need to test it on bhyve. That's my job today, is test this on bhyve.
Oh, yes, please.
ARM64. I'm pretty sure it doesn't happen there because I probably would have already noticed.
Cool. And I do hope to have Ampere up soon. Rebecca Cran kindly sent a BIOS flashed EEPROM to bring it into the modern world.
It's root
get
console
that.
access in single user mode. That is the thing, single user mode. John Baldwin said maybe there's no dev console this early in boot, and that's why you don't get one. Don't know.
Interesting. Well, the wiki would be a great place to put that if you discover something. So keep it coming. Kitty, give it a rest. Let's see. While we have you, Alexander and Dave, I might have it open. Dave, have you ever been a part of all the SPDX discussion that I think Warner was championing some time ago?
No, only vicariously, just following it from a distance.
Great. So for a smell test, Alexander has this review about adding hardware plus SPDX, and I guess there should be an example at the top.
I like put the plus SPDX in there because sometimes it's like I know some people hate this, but not everyone hates it. It's like while I'm touching this manual that nobody cares about, let's get the tag in the tree. I know the tag is correct because I wrote it in style 9 and in the license guide on the website. Warren taught me about it. So that's mostly like that's just says that there because that's a good time to do it. We need to get it in and so that for people's projects where they're automatically analyzing the code that's going on in the tree, its licenses, and I put it prominently in the commit message because I want the commit message to be useful because I use the commit message and probably commit logs more than anyone else because I use them to write the doc. So it's like super important to me that the commit message says absolutely everything that's going on because otherwise it takes like a lot longer. Like I'm just doing software archaeology all day. So this commit is really about and it's actually wrong. Warner responded to me on IRC that it's actually wrong. So when you have a direct access storage device like a USB drive, it's the UMass driver that does it, but it shows up to the system as DAO. So I put that in higher, but it needs to be also in the hardware release notes. But he said it should go over UMass because there's UMass and then there's the future UASP that we don't have yet. If that makes sense.
Any gut
I can't really
reaction
answer
to
that. It's up to Warner as the expert on this stuff.
Yeah, don't yeah, it's yeah. And that's how we do the SPDX. And the SPDX is a beautiful thing because then we don't have to write the whole license out.
Right.
And it's an ISO standard. Like a lot of projects has adopted it. It's really, really nice. It's officially the preferred style in the FreeBSD project. I think I've updated every single piece of documentation that we have. That the preferred style is to just use that.
And it passes every legal smell test to modify the license that someone put on a file. I hope, I trust.
Yes.
Okay.
It is even unto an ISO standard.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of big projects have switched to recommending using only that. It's really, really nice. And it solves the problem of people being mad about line wrapping as well.
Yeah, true. Okay.
That's a big one because I'm always fighting those fights because people want to change it and it's like, no, you don't need to change it. Like it's 80. Or they'll be like, well, even though it's 80, I don't want you to use 80. And it's like, well, I want to use 80 and the rule is 80, so leave me alone.
Cool.
It's okay because you're not actually changing the licensing. You're just slightly changing how that's presented. And it's still presenting it to you, so it's okay.
It's not like you've removed it.
What we can't do is we can't, if it's printed, we can't remove it. That's the consensus of the project. I don't think that there's actually a hard legal precedent for that, but our consensus is that, if it has a license, you can put the SPDX tag at the top so that we can machine parse that license. However, you are not welcome to omit it in favor of that unless you get the original author copyright holder to sign off on it, which I have done before because we've had licenses that were truncated or improperly formatted, and I was able to track these people down, and it's like, hey, will you just like, this needs to be fixed because, if it's truncated, it's not a real license, right? Like if it's missing legal boilerplate, then it's
Right.
no longer doing its job.
Mm.
So I have one commit where I removed like 200 lines of code from the tree by switching all the boot BECTL, all the boot environment stuff. I
Hmm.
switched to SPDX only because the truncated license was causing trouble for me.
Hmm.
And that's one of those things that people have absolutely no problem signing off on. You're not changing anything real. You're just saying, okay, we're
Yep.
still going to present the license. We just want to present it slightly differently. People sign off on that.
Yeah, that's kind of a drag of a thing, like I don't want to make people people hate it when you like fix small presentational issues. But
Some do.
with that
Some
one I
do.
had to because of external pressures.
Cool. That said, any other topics, or shall we revisit the lightning round from bhyvecon, which was, hey, what do we have? What do we need? What do we want to see in 2026 beyond the things we want to slam into FreeBSD 15 if possible?
Dude, I'm slamming stuff into FreeBSD 15 right now at an incredible rate.
I won't tell anyone. DCH, you didn't hear that. Want proper docs on bhyve and jails. Chris did some progress on that at last year's EuroBSDCon and has a repo out there to look at. Package. Yeah, that was like the hot topic in Croatia. Just saying. GPU sharing. Oh, that came up, and it came up recently again on the Fediverse. Like, is it true that Microsoft might have
That's,
some notion of GPU sharing that's not quite pass-through and not quite SRIOV, Andrew?
I mean, I don't know about that. What I was going to say was that, that's also what we're talking about when we're talking about the grid stuff in NVIDIA. That's
Okay.
GPU share.
Yep. Yep. A successor to TrueNAS Core, not a bhyve topic per se. However, quite a few people are happy with bhyve and TrueNAS, believe it or not. Intel AV1, who knows what that is? Unless it was AVX.
That was from me,
Oh
and
yes,
it
please.
will be one of the first things I'm trying to do some testing on for PCI path through because the Intel Media Engine, the hardware encoder for the AV1 codec, is currently like the basically the one thing you want to use if you want to encode to AV1 and you're not Netflix or Amazon. And that would be this just a use case that I'm very interested in actually using is to pass through a Intel Arc GPU and then utilizes an FFmpeg pack to encode stuff on the GPU. And yeah, with all the work I've seen from Alexei, I was again quite
Inspired.
motivated to
Okay.
get into this. It seems quite near.
And the AV1 hardware is on the GPU itself or new CPUs or both?
On the Intel cards, there's actual hardware on it
Okay.
to encode, which makes it feasible. There are pure software CPU encoders, but they are very, very slow. To the point that it's not feasible to want to like encode a video archive.
Okay.
Yeah, would just take too long. So
Oh, and you are out of VFX, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, also a bit.
Cool.
So I'm dabbling in quite a lot of audio and video stuff.
Okay, here is
I don't,
one page I found on it. Go ahead, Andrew. I'll open
I
this
was going
up
to
while
say, I
you're
don't
talking.
specifically have a lot of knowledge of the topic, but is this format that's also relatively well accelerated by accelerators on GPUs.
So Mario, what is the overlap with standard GPUs? What makes AV1 a bit different?
Basically, it's conceptually it's the same as encoding H.264, H.265 on the GPU. It's just it's newer. It's
Okay.
also not encumbered by any kind of patents or things. That's
yeah, okay.
it comes out of a collaboration between I think it was like Intel, Netflix, Google, and some other industry groups. But the concept is the same. That yeah, just a GPU lends itself to put aside some of the hardware of the GPU specifically for encoding routines. And because yeah, it's newer. First, the CPU encoders aren't as optimized as, for example, X264.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's own those like the hardware engines are only found on newer GPUs, like the newer RTX cards from NVIDIA. They also do this, but the ARCs one are especially efficient and they are comparatively cheap.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so-
Okay. Well, keep us posted. And is there a killer app use case that's getting attention already? Like again,
um,
a FFmpeg itself or something?
yeah, the two things are mostly in encoding wise, it's just um, mostly having a way to do really high efficient compressing of video data,
Oh, okay.
while also having a format that you don't have to deal with, well, what's in 20 years when suddenly Cisco wants some realities or something like that, as it's the case or was long the case with 264. Um, and other than that, it's also especially for streaming things. So it's currently not really the case if people are doing like live encoding to
Uh-huh.
AV1. It's not usual because we have good tools for that. But if you have content that is encoded in AV1, you have for decoding there's quite broad compatibility um, on it. So um, in the non-commercial space, I've seen it mostly with people running things like their own streaming networks, things like that. Or that would also be commercial space, but non-enterprise space, so to speak. And yeah, there are quite a few people interested in um, yeah having the Intel Media Engine incorporated into their stuff. And for me also personally, it having like just a box with various cards and being able to software-wise assign them to different systems would open up a lot more flexibility in terms of yeah encoding setups.
Okay. For what it's worth, I found some links to sample AV1, I believe we called it, AV1 files. So I'll just drop them in here. Enjoy. Your mileage may vary, but a nice smoke test would be, okay, fine. Does my laptop here and now open one up or not? That's a simple smoke test. Okay, so cool. Keep us posted on that. And do you have an ARC card to experiment with?
Yeah, I have two
Ooh,
currently. Both are 300 ones, but I'm probably as soon as they are broadly available in Switzerland, I will probably get a B50 or B60, the
cool.
enterprise variant of the new B cards.
And these are showing up as MP4 files, so it's MP4 with AV1 encoding.
Yeah,
Ah, got
that's
it.
the usual ways to put them into an MP4 container.
That makes sense. I like it. Uh, Cool. I will grab a random one, and the browser sure supported it. No problem. Like, the second link has like 1 meg to 30 meg files with different resolutions. Thank you very much. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, keep us posted. Oh, another wish list item, and this keeps coming up. Right, left, and center is documentation. If one of you has a magic wand, please start wielding it. But it's a challenge. The moment you put something on virtual paper, it's potentially out of date, which is never fun, and people get cranky. And
People get so cranky.
says the doc guy. Yes, they
The
do. And
last
it's like,
commit I just published, I
yeah.
just got yelled at that about where I decided to wrap the line. I'm like, I wrapped it in the most least obstructive way for people trying to grep based on what I had an idea at the time. What do you want from me?
Wow.
Yeah, I was standing
So-
next to Michael Lucas, and someone asked him, "Where's the bhyve book?" And he said, he asked the community, and basically in 2019, and they were like, "As soon as you write it, it's going to be out of date."
And he blamed me. I'm like, oh, yeah.
I think you were standing there too, actually.
You know what they say? If you want something done, ask a busy person.
Honestly, like what I've been doing right now is drivers, and like drivers is not out of date. Like people are complaining to me all day, but they're complaining about stupid stuff like they want me to put more text in it and they want me to put wrap the lines differently, and it's like, dude, shut up. Like literally I'm putting it in there. Like if you have suggestions, please have suggestions, but like if not, it's like, what's your end game? Like literally, do you want this stuff to be there or not to be there? And like if you don't want it to be there, actually I don't care. Like I'm empowered to get the doc in. Like please, I was like, okay, well, let's do XHCI needs to say that like that's where USB 3 is supported. Can we put that? Like, no, we can't support that. People don't care about that. Like, yeah, people care about that. Like the hardware release notes saying if it supports USB or not is like a thing. Like people care about that. I promise. If you don't think people care about that, just shut up and do something else.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Jan, welcome. DCH had a question about seeing a root console super early on in single user mode in, I believe, a VM, possibly on AMD 64.
The
Did
way
you
he
follow that?
explained it to me is that the virtual machine does not have the /dev console device, but it does have several TDYs, both a video TDY and video console at runtime. I guess what would be tempting is to try to see if you can set the same flags you can set on an UART on a video console device to mark it as the console. So UART has some flag, I think it's hex 20 or hex 10 or something, or 40, one of those three, to mark it as the console one. Maybe you can do the same with the, what is it, TTY uppercase V or whatever devices for that. Go look into the driver code, maybe. Alternatively, I would check if the loader has, or slash the kernel has some argument to tell it which TTY to use as the console one. Maybe there is something you could set in loader.conf. It's annoying that you have to set it. But yeah, that's on your hoster that they don't provide the right type. I am assuming what they're deciding not to do is to provide legacy type basically PC UARTs to the virtual machine. So you don't have a COM1 to COM4 or whatever. Kind of device emulation, because that's slower, potentially a little bit larger attack surface and shouldn't be needed, but it's the one the loader wants to use by default. So by default, it wants to find something you could on a PC with DOS, you would call it COM1. This emulated hardware does probably not exist, but that's conjecture, not proven. Is Dave still on?
Dave, I hope that helps. I see him present but not unmuted for what it's worth.
You mentioned something about family, right?
You're still muted.
Unruly kids or whatever. You know, who knows?
Is that us?
Yeah, I've got the right area to sort of grub around, and I'm just not entirely sure what I'll be doing there. Yeah.
Check for the list of devices.
Ooh.
Do you have access to the machine right now and can share your screen?
I do actually. I'm just evacuating it so I can reinstall it, but I have one right now if we want to do a share and look.
Then we can break it. Perfect.
Yeah, we can actually break it. I mean, it's
sweet.
That's in about 20 minutes. I have to get back into the kitchen and continue cooking.
Just gonna make sure I get rid of my.
Ooh, and Jan, we had 2 little reviews from innocent audience members on bhyvecon. If you have any thoughts to share, I'm all ears. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, mostly. I mean, one of the remote presentation was a bit thin on substance.
You're not wrong. And let's take a look at that screen. Dave's screen is up.
So you have a
boom.
PL11 UART. Nice.
Yeah, they were just realized.
Can you run pgrep get TTY?
Oh, we need a little bit more there, don't we?
Okay, so you have TTY U0 with 3Y. That's good. And if you do an echo to that, so echo dollar single tick. Let me just type that out
before we break it.
Yeah.
This wouldn't break anything.
So what did you want to do there?
This command.
It's in
redirect that to the U0.
With okay, cool.
And where do we want to where do we want to send that?
U0.
TTYU0, I hear.
Or QR0.
Oh, to like dev CU AU0 like that.
Yep.
Do you need
That should be the right device, right? What device exists?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay, that means we don't have to deal with. Yeah, just try it. It should just write something to the device is busy. Okay. And if you write to the TTY device, does that work?
Which one?
Use the word again.
U0.
U0.
U0. Perfect.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Do you see it?
I'm just logging into the console here, the GUI thing. How do I do that even? All right, where will we doing this on?
I'm gonna car. I won't. So gonna have to leave. I'll talk to you guys later.
See you, Alexander. Take care. Bye.
Should emit a single line of 3 axis to the serial port with carriage return new line.
Hang on, I'm just trying to figure out how I got to this stupid control panel here the last time.
I don't know.
Or do I? There we go, this stupid button. All right. So we're going to go back to the screen. No, let's give ourselves a little bit of space here. Move this over too.
Ooh.
I can't make the font any bigger because computers, but
That's fine.
there's nothing on it.
That's this. Which console is that? Okay, that's the video console you're showing to the left, lower
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah, that's
Well,
the
that
thing.
would-
Then in single user mode, we don't see anything.
But you said you had the text console as well. We see the device.
No, we just have this. This is all we have. This.
This is the
QEMU.
only console you have.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a real console. It's a fake one. But
It's your VGA console equivalent.
yeah, I don't think there's anything.
Okay, what do you have on here? Uh,
Just that. That's the
yeah,
only stuff.
okay. So the confusing thing is, why do you set COM console when you don't have one?
Well, the short answer is this makes Ansible very easy across all architectures. It just works everywhere.
Yeah, but you apparently don't have access to a serial console, correct? Or not?
No, we don't.
Okay, then comment out the whole console stuff you're doing.
Yeah. I'm not saying this is a bad idea, but we've definitely tried this without luck. You think we just try like that and reboot it, yeah? Whoops.
Yeah, let's try to reduce the number of variables. Have you put anything in /boot device.hints?
I'm pretty sure I don't.
Can you cat the file? Does it exist?
I have to wait for it to come back up again.
Oh, you already rebooted. Okay, yeah. But we will see the boot process, which is useful.
And Dave, that's ARM or Intel?
This is ARM. Everything is ARM.
ARM64.
With UEFI, that's the thing?
Just please press L1. We don't want to wait for 30 seconds.
You just want to go. You don't want to see anything else. I still think it's got a dual cons.
Okay, we saw a little bit of more loader output, and then we see this kernel log.
So basically, it's shortly after this. Just see where it says dual console. From memory, that's the last line we see when we boot in single user mode.
And previously, there's a command for console management, right?
Like VT console, that one, or
no. Cons control.
Yes.
Cons control list.
Oh, let's just go.
There you go.
Let me add this to my notes.
So we have both the serial and the video console, and both are on. That's a bit strange because I don't think that's the default. Have you messed with because I think the default is to have just one console. But okay, let's try something.
No, because when it boots up, it says even though we turn it off, it says it's got like dual console, so it detects both of these. Configured and available, and then what else has it got? Muting off. That sounds like something from last century. So why don't we reboot in single user mode? You can see.
Reboot into the bootloader, and then
one of these days.
Was the right host name?
To the wrong server.
Right. Whoops.
No, it's the right machine.
Up arrow in the wrong window and reboot production. That's why.
Right. Also,
Okay, so
your phone starts going off in the background.
Yeah,
press
so let's go
escape.
Oh, too quick. Well, you'll
No,
see where
it was 30 seconds. You pressed enter or something else.
I pressed single user mode. Yes, you see here, dual console is the
Boom.
last line we get.
There you
Yeah.
go.
And because I've done that,
and you don't want video primary, serial secondary. You probably just want one of those.
Gotcha.
so we need to go a force
You have
reset.
to reset it through the management plane.
already on my way. What I should do is I've got two other ARM64.
In the loader menu, try to set it to single console.
Yeah.
And then just let your muscle memory kick in.
Okay. And we're going to go.
Roller, who's that you had?
What are we going to do here?
Oh, my little dog.
Press 5.
Yeah, so I've been through last week all of these
You're
combinations.
on the serial console. No?
I tried every single one of these.
UFI probably. Okay. So if you press 5 again.
Here we get the video.
On video only. And if you now press 2, what happens?
So all of these combinations give you the same place, no output. Same place.
See.
Although to be fair, I was multitasking watching talks, so maybe I got it wrong.
Your UEFI in ARM reminded me of that UEFI, at least on x86.
Okay, now it looks like
this is to Michael Dexter, but Michael Dexter, you think that this runs UEFI?
It is.
It reminded me of that UEFI, at least on x86, is mapped to memory address 4080, like the BIOS. The BIOS image is mapped to memory address 4080 megabytes in /dev/mem. So if this is shown ARM2, I'm gonna try to dump the UEFI of my phone that runs an ARM firmware, a UEFI firmware. I already have a dump of it, but it's from the file system.
Okay.
So let me see if I can dump.
Might that find you a console address or what? And I was about to ask Alexei, does it ring a bell on the EFI console? Maybe going somewhere unexpected?
No.
Okay.
It looks like your console is just not working right now. I'm wondering if somewhere in the server control panel there is a non-VNC console for the serial console.
No.
Because you have the device, what are they using it for? Just for cloud in it?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me just have a look. I'll go through and have a look again, but from memory, there's nothing in here. Is this access or no? Settings. Screen that's the screen there. This is just, it'll be a rebooting again. So rebooted in the interim.
Yeah, it's rebooted into. So I would say try again with the. But the strange thing is, why you may not have the.
Okay.
Can you log in and test if you really have no /dev console device?
Yeah, we can do that. Let's not do that this time.
Shall we do this post call?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't a quick fix, but I do encourage you to get it fixed. So, other last bhyve questions, concerns, funny jokes, puns, you name it. And Alexander, take an opportunity to share your lovely use case comment, please. It made my week. You're muted.
Your use case is not the center of the use case-averse.
Thank you. I love that. Well, now, would someone like the honors? We'll probably all stick around a little bit, but I think we're good today. Yes, thank you, Alexei.
My microphone was set to way too low. Like and subscribe.
Thank you, sir. Okay, great work, everyone. Thank you all for participating in bhyvecon. Talk to you soon. And I will stop recording, and then we can continue on your debugging.